Welcome back, Guardian. Ristophilis here. Welcome to another build tutorial. We're going to continue the Hunter Gunslinger Solar class series. We're going to be using the good old Celestial Nighthawk this time. I didn't want to just show you what I was wearing, so here's how the video is going to play out. So before I even started thinking about this build, I was just under the impression that it's probably going to need a lot of super mods. It's a super heavy kind of exotic. It just has one shot. It's meant for main target, so getting that back is crucial. So I was like, you know, it's probably going to take a bunch of super mods. I'll throw like one grenade mod, enhanced bomber, should be good to go. Then I was completely shocked, and I know how a lot of people build out their Celestial Nighthawk. They do probably the same thing. They stack a ton of super mods on it, so I thought I would take you along some of the tests that I did to understand how I'm building out for this. Let's get started. Let's talk about the stats first. So the stats on this Hunter build is going to be 4, 3, 8. That is a Celestial Nighthawk. We're going to go through all the armor first, but we're going to focus on just the Celestial Nighthawk right now. If you can't build for the mobility, don't ever try to build for it. Some builds can have it, some builds cannot have it, but focus on your recharge rate and your recovery before you add the luxury item of the mobility. Some builds can have it, some can't. It just depends on what the stats of the exotic you're using are. And with this one, it can't happen. 4, 3, 8 is it. Now let's talk about Celestial Nighthawk. Golden Gun fires one high damage shot. I ended up putting a grenade charge mod on this. However, I started off using super mods on this, and I'll show you those tests. Hands-on or whatever supercharged perk that you have. I just happen to have hands-on, so whatever you have is fine. Now, the Celestial Nighthawk gives you some super back when you kill a target with it, but we're going to do two tests. One where we're killing the target, one where we're not killing the target, just to see exactly what happens. This is the build that I thought the Celestial Nighthawk was originally going to be, and I still think this build might have some use. If you're in a boss with no ads to kill, then this build will help. It's 3 super mods, 1 grenade charge mod, enhanced bomber, and a recovery mod. So that's pretty much how this build plays out. This is the one we're going to test first. Then I'm going to take you to the 4-3-8 build and show you how that one plays out. And then I'll just show you the truth of how it all happens. So pop the super, and then we're going to hit the target, and it's going to start right here. And I'll see you at the end of the timer to let you know what the time of this was. If you want to get your stopwatch out, you can do that as well. It's also important for me to mention that I am going to be picking up some of these Masterwork orbs, as I would naturally do during combat. There's like 3 created per each test that I'm picking up, so I'm going to pick this one up. It would have been 36 seconds, but it took me a second to run to that orb, so it was 41 seconds. So that's 3 super mods, 36 to 41 seconds. Now let's do without killing somebody, so it starts at 0. Let's do 3 super mods again. I am going to be picking up those Masterwork orbs, and let's see what the timer is at the end of this. Also, don't forget that I do have hands-on on this helmet, and I am going to be using the throwing knife that will proc the hands-on supercharge to benefit the 3 super mods even more. So that was a ton of adds down from that one knife, so that was a good grip of super energy from the hands-on perk. So that's going to definitely benefit it, but I wanted to show you it with that on here versus 0 super mods, so you can see that, you know, the tests were equally played out basically. So we'll do another melee, get some more. And now we have, like I said, 3 super mods, and this is the gap we're going to have at the very end after we pick up those orbs. We have this much gap, and it looks like we're going to end it up at 51 seconds. If there were more ads to kill, it could have potentially been even faster than that, but there were no more ads. Now let's put on the build that I recommend, the 4-3-8, and I'm going to talk to you about another version of this. Once we get to the end of the video, I'll go over all the stats and stuff again so you see it in slow motion basically. But we're going to start it off, we're going to shoot the target and see what happens. So we blow up, we get some super energy back, same amount we had last time. We have the hands-on, we do 1 knife. Now we're going to wait on this guy to come down, going to nade him, get the melee out of here. This is not the only supercharged test we're going to be testing, because there are in fact 2 different supercharged times in the game. There's the easy mode super recharge rate, which we're doing now, and there's the harder mode recharge rate that we're going to be testing later, and charges are often a little bit slower when you have harder AI. So doing this kind of lost sector boss, of course I'm going to get my super back at the most max. So here we are, we're going to do another melee, throw it down. Telesto just shreds everything in here. That was a 40-second super. It would have been probably 36 seconds if I would have killed those top ads first. So we gained no time from 3 super mods to 0. Now let's waste the super, start it at 0 again. throw the nade out. Let's see where the charge times happen again. Like I said, this is just the easy mode supercharge times. They do vary when you get the harder AI. So, same thing again. Knock them out with the Telesto. Freaking crush everything in here with Telesto. Stupid. So we're about to have that gap. We're almost out of ads to clear. We're going to pick up our Masterwork orbs. We have one more dude up here. One orb. Now, here's where things kind of change. We're at a pause right here. So here's the gap between 3 super mods and 0 super mods. The time on this is going to be 1 minute and 3 seconds. So 1 minute and 3 seconds versus 51 seconds. So 12-second difference. But like I said, if there were more ads to kill, I would have had that super back around the same time, maybe about 5 seconds slower than the 3 super mods. So what does that tell us? Having 3 super mods wasting more than half of your mod slots isn't really worth it, or is it? Let's still do some more tests because I still wasn't totally convinced at that point. Now I want to take it into the harder activities and see what the charge rates are, starting with 0 super mods on this first encounter. I also want to mention, excuse the gameplay right here. It was super late. I was hella tired after messing with this build for so many hours, so my shots are all off, and it's horrible gameplay, but I didn't feel like going in and re-recording it because the charge rates were the same the entire night. This was just the only footage that I managed to record or find out of all the hours of footage. I just didn't feel like digging anymore. The times were the same, but the gameplay just looks crappy on this, so I just want to mention that. Anyways, I'll see you at the end of this, and we'll see what the times are, and then we'll test the 3 super mods, and then we'll go over one more test. I also want to mention that I am going to be playing the combat how I normally would. So if there are orbs that are going to be dropping, I will be picking the little orbs up, but I'm not going to be picking any big super orbs up to mainly increase my supercharge rate that much. But little orbs like that, sometimes I'll get them, sometimes I won't, just to kind of balance it out and how actual gameplay would be with the super recharge rates with the 3 and the 0. So I'm going to also pick up orbs when I'm wearing 3 super mods, same as I did with the 0. So we can kind of just see naturally what the charge rate is going to end up being. Our super is almost up, and we're going to end up being at 1 minute and 30 seconds. So the hard mode super recharge during actual combat is 1 minute and 30 seconds, picking up minimal orbs. Let's do the same test. Now we have 3 super mods on. We waste a super, same as we did with the other one. Let's get to doing combat, picking up a few orbs, and let's see how much time we save by having the 3 super mods on versus 0 during hard combat. I already know what all the charge times are. I just want you to experience it for yourself. But I do want to note, sometimes the PlayStation will cause a blip, such as right here when I shoot this rocket. You see how it cut it out? It was like a second that it missed, and sometimes that happens, so I just wanted to mention that so nobody saw that and thought that I was like trying to manipulate times on here or whatever. Sometimes it just happens, but anyways, just wanted to note that before anybody trolled me up. Alright, the super is almost back, and you'll be shocked to know that it was 1 minute and 30 seconds, the same as it was with 0 super mods. So we save virtually nothing by having 3 super mods. Let's do the same test again, back to the 0 super mods, and let's see how it plays out. I am going to be picking up quite a bit of orbs on this, just to see what it would be like during real combat when I am picking up every orb that I see, to kind of see where it's at, to see if 3 versus 0 would then again help. I'll go ahead and give you the spoiler, it doesn't help at all. The actual recharge of me doing this at the very end was 1 minute and 6 seconds, and the encounter actually ended, so a lot of the super recharge was me running from this area towards the next area. So what I'm basically getting at is, those of you who are doing reaping type combat, where you're mainly doing a lot of ad clear and stuff like that, super recharge mods are not going to ever benefit you on any build that you put on, especially an exotic that has super recharge benefits, such as Crown of Tempest, or the Crown of Sin build that I recently just made with the Nazarick Sin. Doesn't help at all, so that's why I always recommend not using those. For Crucible, I would recommend it because you're not killing nearly as much. You have a lot more super recharge where you're just running around and not doing much. But when you're killing ads, you're picking up orbs. 3 super mods doesn't do anything at all for you. If you wanted to save maybe like 10 to 12 seconds, you probably would have to run 5 super mods, but that would just jack your stats all to pieces. Now, I was recently asked about demolitionist weapons, and I don't ever build for specific weapon loadouts, but I will give you just what I would do if I was using demolitionist with this build on. So this build is going to have 3 grenade charge mods on with enhanced bomber, and it's going to have between 20-second and 28-second grenades. However, if you're using demolitionist weapons, what you would do is take 2 of the grenade charge mods off, leaving 1 on, and then put recovery mods on in its place to have 10 recovery. You can't have mobility with this build, and to have the recovery and the recharge rate, it just isn't possible. So what I would do is that. So let's go to the arms. 2 mobility, 1 recovery, a grenade charge mod, impact induction, or enhanced impact induction. Enhanced will give you 20-second grenades with this build. Regular will give you 28 seconds with this build. That's if you do 2 melees and do the dodge with the enhanced bomber legs that we'll talk about. Just copy these to make sure that you have the right stats. Now for the chest piece, 1 mobility, 1 resilience, 2 recovery, a grenade charge mod. Match it to the weapons that you choose to use. Legs, recovery mod, 0 mobility, 1 resilience, 3 recovery to maintain that recovery. Enhanced bomber gives you 10 seconds off per dodge, which is needed to get those 20-second grenades, but you're going to be utilizing your build to the fullest like you normally would do, so you are going to be doing these dodges. You get it back every 25 seconds, basically. Not bad at all to get that 10 seconds off. Now moving on to your cloak, same as always. You're going to do recuperation, a recovery mod. You have a lot of taken enemies or fallen enemies or whatever the case may be. You'll use the armaments in the place of that recovery mod, and that will put you at 7 recovery. But if you're using the demolitionist weapons like we talked about, where you're taking the 2 grenade mods off in replace of recovery mods, it'll put you at 9 recovery if you choose to do armaments. So either way, completely your choice. But if you're not using demolitionist, copy this build exactly as it is, because it runs out perfectly. You get those fast grenades back, which are way more beneficial than what those super mods could ever do for you. And you know what that means. Grenades equals more beast, more survival, high recovery, all good. Use Gambler's Dodge to get your knives back. Everything just works out, Guardian. So if you want to join, become beast. Also shop at teespring.com/Ristophilis. You can also become part of our team, bros. Get all those perks and benefits. PayPal.me/Ristophilis if you want to donate or help out the channel in any way possible. No donation is too small. Again, my name is Ristophilis. I hope you enjoyed this build, and I will see you all next time.
In space.